years ago, Prague was a mystery to travelers in Europe. Now, however, it is one of the most popular destinations on the continent, drawing about 4 million visitors each year. Prague offers a compact city center, a fascinating centuries-long history with splendid examples of Romanesque, Gothic, Baroque, Renaissance, and Art Nouveau architecture. There are also scores of palaces, churches, parks and squares in Prague, delicious local Czech beer and food for reasonable prices. An overview of the top tourist attractions in Prague. Number 10. Prague Castle. Towering above the city is Prague Castle, more of a sprawling complex than a single defensive building. The castle building spans centuries and consists of a royal palace, a cathedral and 3 churches, a basilica, a monastery, defensive towers, royal stables, a tiny lane where craftsmen worked, and magnificent gardens. Prague Castle began as a wooden fortress with earthen bulwarks in the 9th century. By the 11th century, it included a royal palace, and the 14th century saw the beginning of St. Vitus Cathedral. The cathedral in the castle complex is a jewel in Prague's crown, a superb example of Gothic architecture. Kings and emperors are buried here. Number 9. Dancing House. Prague is known for its centuries-long span of architectural styles, with the end of the 20th century exemplified by the deconstructivist building Dancing House. Created by Czech architect Valdo Miluník and Canadian Frank Gehry, this remarkable structure contains both dynamic and static elements, and resembles a female dancer swaying in the arms of her male partner. The Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers of the architectural world. Located on the bank of the Vltava River and Reslova Street, Dancing House is a private office building except for a restaurant on the 7th floor, the Celeste, which is open to the public. Dancing House stands in strict contrast to the classical architecture surrounding it, which includes buildings in Art Nouveau, Neo-Gothic and Neo-Baroque styles. Its ultra-modern design created public outcries and controversy during its construction. Years later, Prague is proud to show off its splendid Dancing House. Number 8. Old Town Hall. The Old Town Hall in Prague is not only a historical gem but also a cultural hub, hosting exhibitions and events that showcase the city's vibrant heritage. Visitors can delve deeper into Prague's past through guided tours of the building and its interiors, gaining insight into the political and social significance of this iconic structure. Additionally, the Old Town Hall serves as a gathering place for locals and tourists alike, with its lively atmosphere and proximity to other attractions making it a central point of interest in the city. Number 7. Municipal House. The Municipal House is a beautifully ornate building right next to the Pakhovsky Palace and the Powder Tower in the old part of town. Bohemian kings used to rule the countryside from this Art Nouveau classic where operas and plays are now held. The building has a dramatic entrance with a concave mural depicting classic works of art. Inside, you'll find sculptures from some of the most renowned artists of past centuries, and the building links right up to Prague's ancient city gate, making for a dramatic picture. Number 6. Powder Tower. One of the original gates into Old Town Prague, this tower was first built in the 11th century and rebuilt in the 15th century. During the 17th century, the tower was used for storing gunpowder, which is where it gets its name. The royal route, the coronation route of the Bohemian kings, started at the tower, through Old Town, across the Charles Bridge and up to Prague Castle and St. Vitus Cathedral, where the kings were crowned. Powder Tower is connected by a covered bridge to what used to be the palace of King Vladislav II, who rebuilt the tower in 1475. The former palace is now the municipal house and remains connected to the tower. Inside the tower is a spiral staircase with 186 steps leading up to the gallery where visitors can get great view of Old Town. Number 5. Tin Church. The Church of Our Lady Before Tin graces the Old Town Square, among the most well-known attractions in Prague. The church's Gothic towers soar 80 meters, 260 feet, into the sky and can be seen from all parts of the city. Like many other Prague churches, the site's original building was an 11th century Romanesque church built for foreign merchants, who came to Tin Courtyard for trade. The present church was constructed in the 14th century. Although the roof, towers and gables came years later. Inside, Tin Church holds many works of art in Gothic, Baroque and Renaissance styles. Our Lady Before Tin's architects were Petr Parler and Matthias of Arras, who created many of Prague's Gothic buildings. Number 4. Mala Strana. On the other end of Charles Bridge from Old Town Square lies the Mala Strana or Lesser Town District. Baroque architecture is the rule in Mala Strana, although its history dates back to 1257 when it was founded as a royal town. The Baroque St. Nicholas Church and the extensive Wallenstein Palace dominate the area. The district hosts palaces, churches, squares, parks, gardens and many other attractions. Surrounding Lesser Town Square are pubs, shops, restaurants and international embassies. Housed in grand old Baroque buildings, towering over Mala Strana is Prague Castle, which can be reached by a hike up picturesque Narodova Street. Houses on the street boast heraldic emblems and beasts such as the White Swan, the Golden Horseshoe and the Red Eagle. Travelers longing for a quiet walk in a park should head for Vogen Park or Petrin Hill. Number 3. Wenceslas Square. One of Prague's two main squares, Wenceslas Square is a shopper's paradise and haven, set off as Prague's horse market by Charles IV in 1348. Wenceslas Square is more of a boulevard than a traditional square. Located in Newtown, the square is home to bars, clubs, restaurants, hotels, shops and banks, making it the city's entertainment, nightlife and commercial district. Much of Czech's 20th century history happened in Wenceslas Square as political movements and gatherings met at the statue of St. Wenceslas to parade down the square. Wenceslas Square is central to most of Prague, as Old Town Square and Charles Bridge are about a 5-minute walk away, and all three metro lines meet in the square. Wenceslas Square is home to the Grand National Museum and the Prague State Opera. Number 2. Old Town Square. Located between Wenceslas Square and the Charles Bridge, Prague's Old Town Square is often bursting with tourists and locals in the summer. Czech's long history is exemplified in the medley of architectural styles: Romanesque, Baroque, Rococo, Gothic and Renaissance are all represented in the superb buildings around the square. Soaring Gothic towers that rise from tin cathedral contrast with the Baroque style of St. Nicholas, while Old Town Hall consists of a collection of Gothic and Renaissance buildings. Entranced visitors wander through the square, stopping for a spot of people watching at one of the outdoor cafes or studying the square's central statue of Jan Hus, church reformer and martyr. Number 1. Charles Bridge. Located between Wenceslas Square and the Charles Bridge, Prague's Old Town Square is often bursting with tourists and locals in the summer. Czechia long history is exemplified in the medley of architectural styles. Romanesque, Baroque, Rococo, Gothic and Renaissance are all represented in the superb buildings around the square. Soaring Gothic towers that rise from tin cathedral contrast with the Baroque style of St. Nicholas, while Old Town Hall consists of a collection of Gothic and Renaissance buildings. Entranced visitors wander through the square, stopping for a spot of people watching at one of the outdoor cafes or studying the square's central statue of Jan Hus, church reformer and martyr.